2005 Saab 95 Aero, Part 2.
So, what's the Saab 95 Aero like to drive? Well, it's actually very exhilarating, to be honest with you. It's smooth, it's comfortable, and when it comes to passing power, there's almost nothing like it at all. I was not kidding. It's absolutely phenomenal. Now, on an overall driving experience in at least for mine, 2005 Saab 95 Aero, the steering communicates a lot. It gives you an amazing amount of feedback throughout. And yes, I know my dashboard is super dusty. Should have cleaned it, but I didn't. The steering around the city and parking lots and low speeds is very, very light. It's not as doesn't feel as heavy and direct as, say, a BMW or a Mercedes, or actually even some of the new Kias. However, as you speed up and you approach highway speeds and beyond, it does stiffen up quite a lot. Now, the only thing is with the steering itself, it does communicate some would say a little too much, like undulations in the pavement and things like that. It would actually feel like something may be off with the steering. It communicates feedback that much. I don't mind it, now that I know that there's actually nothing wrong. At first it was a little, did freak me out a little bit. It's like, oh no, is something loose in the steering? Like, it just feels loose, or it's vibrating, and no, it's just, it communicates that much. Mind you, yes, also depending on what tires you have on the vehicle can change the feedback as well. I've been through different sets of tires, winter tires, ultra high performance summer tires, regular all season tires, and it communicates a lot. I believe it's 2.5 turns lock to lock, I believe. Now, the one thing is the steering wheel is pretty large. It would be nicer if it was a smaller steering wheel, which you can always get aftermarket. Other than the fact of the feedback being extremely good, it is a heavy car. There's no way around that. However, for a front-wheel drive, heavy, mid-size sedan, it actually does actually handle very well. Obviously, it's not going to handle as well as a rear-wheel drive high-performance sports sedan, but for what it is, front-wheel drive, heavy, I believe it's 60-40 front-rear weight ratio, front to rear. It holds its own. It holds its own very well, and that passing power is just absolutely insane. 0 to 60, it's not very fast. Saab limits the torque at first and second gear, and you don't actually get the full available torque until third gear. It holds the boost back and whatnot, so 0 to 60 is not incredibly fast. I think Car and Driver, when they tested it, the fastest they were able to get was 6.5 seconds, which by today's standards isn't all that quick. However, back in 2005, that was pretty quick for a four-door family sedan. But I did some tests, 40 to 60 miles an hour and 60 to 80, and both of those were 2.6 or 2.9 seconds, somewhere around there. So once you're on a roll, this car is extremely difficult to beat. From 40 to 60, 60 to 80, I believe it's faster than a Porsche 911 Turbo from the same era, which is pretty crazy for what this car actually is. visibility is really good. And you know, you have a huge, well, actually, you have pretty big, I wouldn't say huge, but you have a very large rounded window. It's like a cockpit of airplane, go figure. With that said, like visibility from like the door sills, you know, it's pretty big windows on the sides. The exterior proportions are a little odd. You know, the top of the car to the belt line is very tall. Everything else is super short in height. You know, my wife has Kia Magentas, 2009 Kia Magentas Sport, and when I pull up beside her car, I mean, my mirrors fit under the mirrors on her doors. So the belt line on this car is very, very low. The hood line is extremely low. I have another friend of mine, he's got, I believe it's 2017 or 2018 Camaro SS2, or somewhere, something like that anyway. Full performance package, this, that, and the other. And my car right beside his, my belt line is, the top of my hood is like at his bumper. It's that much of a difference. However, his roof line is below the roof line on this car. Obviously, sacrifice would be visibility. With that said, you can see the back window here. With the headrests actually up, it cuts out a lot of the visibility on this car. Pretty much you just have the center area and about half of the left and right sides of the rear window. It's actually not as bad as it seems, because the space in the center is pretty open, and when there's no one sitting back there, you can actually flip the headrests down. There's little buttons on each side to just flip them down so you have the full window open, but I'm just lazy, so I just don't do that. But in regards to the drive, I mean, the acceleration on this thing is just something else. And yeah, it's a 4-cylinder, but it doesn't quite sound like a 4-cylinder in a matter of speaking. And while I'm doing this, I'm not using sport mode. I'm actually just doing the acceleration in regular mode. But you know, a lot of people want to know, so what does the sport button do? What is it like? Does it really make a difference? You know, how much of a difference does it make? Okay, well, here's one pass, or one roll, I guess, downshift, just in full automatic. And that's in standard mode. I'm going to switch over to sport and run the same thing. You want to know what it's like? Here we go. Speed. It's harder to show on video, but yeah, when you're actually in the car, yeah, it's a world of difference. And you know, of course, you also have the paddle shifters as well. I mean, third gear acceleration on this thing is ridiculous. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's smooth. For a 4-cylinder, it's pretty quiet until you stomp on it. You know, you get the turbo whine, you get the air pressure buildups, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it's not as smooth as a V6 or a V8 or a straight 6, but you know, for a 4-cylinder, it definitely holds its own against the V6s and some V8s. It's extremely impressive, and for some, it's confusing. So you get great gas mileage. I run about 700 kilometers to a tank of gas, give or take. Actually, a few times I've been able to squeeze out 750. So, you know, and plus having all like a boatload of torque. It's really hard to compare this car to anything else. It really is. yeah, there's a stigma that Saabs are, they're expensive and they're too difficult to repair and parts aren't available, but none of that is true. There's a separate company, Aero. They actually still make parts. The Saab parts division was divided into a separate company when Spyker took over Saab before they went bankrupt, which was, thankfully, that was a really smart decision. So parts are really readily available. I've never had an issue. I can get every little rivet, every little plug, every cable, sensor, everything. I've never seen anything that you cannot actually obtain for these cars. So, and they're put together really well. They're really not that difficult to work on. I do most of my wrenching at home, and it's pretty much just put together like Lego. I mean, it's really not a difficult car to figure out, and there's a ton of info online in regards to how to do repairs and things to look for, and step by step and tips and tricks and this, that, and the other. There's saabcentral.com, great forum, a lot of really friendly, helpful people. There's YouTube videos. There's the Trionic 7 series, and obviously there's Auto Autopsy as well. Hey, what's up, man? And yeah, so I mean, it's not like the info's not out there. It is. There are some Saab specific things, like getting a Tech 2 with the Saab software in order to diagnose electronic issues. But from all the people that are on Saab Central who have had Saabs over and over and over again, I mean, we've pretty much all been through everything. So even without a Tech 2, there are a lot of things that we would be able to help with in regards to, okay, those are the symptoms, here's the issue, right? Like, the crank position sensor, it won't even show up as a check engine light or anything, the car just won't start, things like that, but you would never actually think that it's the crank position sensor, and, that, just as a quick example. But, yeah, so this is how this car is to drive. It's been great. Anyway, if I think of any other videos to throw up here for this bad boy, then I will. Hopefully it won't be any repairs, because this car, it's been very good to me. Just basic maintenance and wear and tear items replaced. From the last video, this is how much I drive. From the last video I put up, I am now sitting at 286,733 kilometers. So I drive a lot. And I am planning on this car hitting over that 500,000 mark. Oh yeah, buddy. Well, it's been an interesting journey, and hopefully you'll stay tuned.